yourself.
Justin Lansing, 28 years old, trained with Marcus Soares, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
All right. Now you're having your debut next week at Battlefield, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. It's been a long time coming, if I'm not mistaken. You've been training Jiu-Jitsu for about 4.5 years now?
Jiu-Jitsu about 4.5 years. I boxed previously with Tony Pep as well, and wrestled as well in Nikigala.
Okay.
So between the three of them.
Did you compete in wrestling and boxing?
As far as wrestling, I've done like the UBC wrestling tournament, and then as far as Jiu-Jitsu goes, I've done things from the Tiger Bombs to the Pan Ams in LA, and I've also competed in Brazil twice as well.
All right. What do you know about your opponent next week at Battlefield?
My opponent really trains out of camp in Surrey. Don't know a whole lot about him. I know he likes to talk. The last few months has just really been bringing them all together and actually training MMA as a whole instead of just training each single discipline. Other than that, my conditioning is something I've been into for a long time. I take it really seriously, and that's something I do on a C55 foot down.
Okay. Now, outside of MMA, what do you do as far as work?
For work, I'm a firefighter.
Okay. And that allows you, I'm guessing, to stay fit and also to have more time to train with the shift, the rotating shifts and whatnot. Is that? Yeah,
it's a great job, definitely. The 4 on 4 off gives me a lot of time to train in my days off, and it's a pretty physically demanding job. So all the guys are pretty understanding as far as working out goes and stuff like that, and everyone's pretty in shape, so it's a good place to be.
All right. One of the things that we try to do with BCMA.com is to break the stereotypes that the MMA fighters are thugs and they're just like street fighters and like to brawl. Do you have a history of street fights and stuff like that?
Not at all. No, not at all. I spent a bit of time as a bouncer when I was younger, but as far as street fights go, no, not at all. You know, I think it's MMA is a growing sport, and I don't think it's any different than boxing or any of those things. So as far as it being like a sport for thugs or a dangerous sport, I think that's pretty crazy.
Okay. Well, while we're on the subject, this morning the province published an article saying that the BC Medical Association wants to lobby the Ottawa to make MMA pretty much illegal. Yeah. Their main point was that they consider MMA a high risk for injuries. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you feel about it? Give us your thoughts on that.
You know, my thoughts on that are, as far as that goes, I really don't think it's any more dangerous than boxing. You know, in a boxing fight, you can get knocked on the ground, and then the referee can hold the other guy off, and they'll give you 10 seconds to stand back up, and then you walk right back in and you get hit in the head again. So, as for an MMA fight, if you got knocked on the ground, the guy jumped on top of you, he's probably going to hit you once more, and the fight's going to be over. You know, another big thing with an MMA fight, too, is you can finish a fight without even hitting a guy. So, if using a submission, a choke, something like that, a joint lock. So, being able to finish a fight without even hitting a guy, it sounds pretty safe to me.
All right. And now, especially in BC, we have MMA BC, which is putting together a set of amateur rules that protects the amateurs even further than the rules are already established. I mean, you take a look at the unified rules of MMA, and it's pages and pages. They were saying there's a lack of regulation, but that's not true. If you take a look simply on Wikipedia, for example, it's a long list of rules that everybody goes by in MMA. And on top of that, for the amateurs, they added thicker padding on the gloves, no leg locks, no ankle locks. So what do you think it's going to take to quiet those people that are doubtful of the safety of the sport?
You know, I just wish the people who were so worried about it spent a little more time just to do a little more research and look into it a bit and realize that it's not as dangerous as everyone thinks it is, and that especially with the amateurs, there's so many guidelines put in place to keep them safe, and with a referee in there and everything being controlled, that really it's not as dangerous as everyone thinks. So I just wish they'd spend a little more time and look into it a little more before they start making judgments.
All right. So your debut, from what I heard, Marcus kind of looks at you as a pupil. You've been training with him for a while, and he's really has a lot of hopes for you. So it's going to be a really good event to watch.
You know, as far as Marcus goes, I really look up to Marcus. He's been almost like a father to me as far as training goes, and he's helped me out a lot in the last 4 or 5 years of my life. And everything that I'm at now, I definitely owe to him. He's got me to where I am today, and I'm really thankful of that. So. As much as I can say about Marcus.
The week afterwards, there's UFC where we have James Toney and Randy Couture going at it. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
As far as the fight coming up with Randy Couture and James Toney, it's going to be interesting to see like a pro boxer go against Randy Couture. I don't know how he's going to do it. I think Randy's got him on this one for sure. But it's going to be interesting to watch. I just don't know how James Toney's going to be able to pull it off.
All right. Now, the one thing is that with the UFC, their marketing machine is very powerful, and they do sometimes good matches like this where they're introducing wrestlers into MMA. They're introducing, I heard about Batista wanting to join UFC, now James Tooney, elite boxer, joining MMA. But they also do grudge matches, and a lot of guys that love to trash talk each other. How do you feel about it? Some people say that it hurts the sport more than anything. Some people say it's unnecessary. What's your thoughts on that?
As far as the trash talking stuff goes, maybe some people do different things to sell fights. It's not really my thing. I'd rather just, go in the ring and do my talking in the ring, and hopefully my training can carry me through to where I need to be. I don't feel it's really necessary to trash talk the person I'm going to fight. I have lots of respect for the guy I'm going to fight. I'm sure he's training hard too, and I'm not going to undermine him or try to belittle him by saying funny comments about him outside the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fight, and I'm sure he's training hard, and I'm training hard, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right. How do you feel about the fight? Like, how do you see it going? Do you have any predictions on how it's going to go down? Do you see it?
It's a fight, so you never know how it's going to go. You never know. I've got my game plan, and I know what I want to do, and it's just going to be a matter of me getting in the ring and executing it.
All right. Well, wish you good luck in your fight. Thanks a lot for giving us the interview, Justin.
No worries. Thank you.